We slept in the same bed, but not together.
See who's lying? Our story isn't changing like hers.
At first, we slept in different rooms.
Do you think it's appropriate for you to be sharing a bed on?
Well, we don't sleep in the same room.
His father?
He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic. I asked Terrell about my son. I told him about it. Oh, yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes. You take them off. You got on, did you put on socks?
We're talking about a newborn child, so I was taking full responsibility. But if I'm going to him and I'm saying, give me $20 a week for your child, that's no money for no child. There should be no pressure on it.
Mr. Belding throws a wild pitch by suspecting that his father might be the biological father of his ex-girlfriend, Ms. Marsh's child, Jordan. This curveball comes from the twisted living setup where his dad bunked up with Ms. Marsh. Adding more spice, the court plans to whip out a lie detector test to dig deep into Ms. Marsh's dealings, Mr. Belding's dad.
You claim little Jordan's biological father may be your own father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've also petitioned the court for a lie detector test for Ms. Marsh to determine the extent of her relationship with your dad. Mr. Belding's father will also be joining us on to that accusation in just a few moments.
Ms. Marsh stands her ground, defending her choice to shelter Mr. Belding's dad, arguing she was basically the last resort due to his tough luck with family and friends. The Belding squad counters with a why not elsewhere argument, painting a picture of a family drama thicker than a Thanksgiving gravy. This moment just adds more layers to the already complex relationship pretzel.
With me and my mom, as a matter of fact, and he slept in a totally different room. It was a 3-bedroom house. We never
was the
slept
first
in the same
house.
room. And we've always had
several.
more than 3 rooms.
Out of all the places you could live?
He had nowhere to go. Literally, I asked her, and his sister said, no, I'm not going to let
So,
a
Mr.
man I
Belding.
call my dad stay on the streets.
Accusations start flying like popcorn at a food fight about Ms. Marsh's loyalty and who really fathered her child. Mr. Belding and his mom drop bombshells about community gossip and past paternity tests, pointing fingers at other potential daddies. This chapter turns the courtroom into a reality show set on high drama.
She's already
not
had
it.
one man tested before.
I didn't have him tested. He had her tested. I know who the father of my daughter is, and is this man right here.
She thinks Zach's the dad, but he can't do nothing with her. He's not allowed. Except for the night you spent the night and you had sex with her, which was just 2 months, Your
We
Honor.
didn't have sex. You're
So
same
together
bed, Your
for a
Honor.
year. She must be sleeping around, is all I have to say.
No.
Now we hear from Mr. Belding's father, right at the eye of the storm, defending his honor against claims of an inappropriate relationship with Ms. Marsh. He's adamant about his innocence, throwing a wrench into the scandal machine. His testimony is crucial, aiming to clear the air around the whispers and raised eyebrows.
Kind of. I mean, the schedules between her mother's schedule, my schedule, and Amber's schedule, there was always someone there to take care of the baby.
How do you feel your son is accusing you of being the father of Ms. Marsh?
It's a little frustrating. I feel kind of demeaned by it, and I have never laid a finger on Amber Marsh.
Judge Lake steps in and turns up the heat, questioning the appropriateness of Ms. Marsh's decision to share a bed with Mr. Belding's father. Ms. Marsh scrambles to explain the logistics behind their shared living, which sounds about as convincing as a soggy alibi. The judge isn't buying what she's selling. The tension is palpable.
In my 3-bedroom apartment, it was different rooms. And then when we lived at my mom's, I worked 3rd shift and he worked 1st. We slept in the same bed, but not together.
See who's lying? Our story isn't changing like hers.
At first, we slept in different rooms. And
Do
then
you
when we
think
moved,
it's
we didn't.
appropriate for you to be sharing a bed on?
Well, we don't sleep in the same room.
His father?
DNA test results finally hit the air, and boom.
Mr. Belding Jr., you are her father.
That's my baby.
The courtroom drama kicks off with a bang. Ms. Thompson brings Mr. McKinley to court to prove that he is the father of her 6-month-old son, Legend. She claims Mr. McKinley's wife is influencing his denial of paternity due to pettiness. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Strap in for a roller coaster ride.
Ms. Thompson, you are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove to him and wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. You say his wife is petty, and she is the cause of his paternity denial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things heat up quickly here. Mr. McKinley admits the affair with Ms. Thompson was a mistake and insists that she should stop bothering him and his wife and find the real father of her child. He wishes to remove himself from the situation entirely. Keep your eyes peeled, the plot thickens.
Mr. McKinley, you admit that Ms. Thompson was an affair gone wrong, and you say Ms. Thompson needs to leave you and your wife 17 years alone, find her baby's father. Is that correct?
This is where it gets juicy. Ms. Thompson describes how their relationship began, through interactions on Facebook, leading to a physical relationship. She explains that their encounters were generally protected, except on occasions when she drank too much, which she regrets. What she reveals next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
I was on Facebook. He was always liking my pictures. He was always trying to get attention, to be noticed. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty. So I'm gonna let them hang themselves.
Okay, let her get the story out, then I'm gonna come to you,
let them
Mr.
hang
Kinley. I want to hear your side.
Because like I said, I'm 5 and I'm just trying to tell you the story because you asked me.
Here comes a curveball. When questioned about his marriage status during their relationship, Mr. McKinley had misled Ms. Thompson by claiming he was separated, which was false. This led to further complications in their affair. Buckle up for the ensuing mayhem.
Did you know he was married?
He told me that he was separated.
She
which
lied.
was
She
true.
know, Your Honor.
They weren't together.
I went on his Facebook. She's always posting new pictures and this and that in his
Because
DM.
I went in
his private.
And the plot thickens. Mrs. McKinley confronts Mr. McKinley and Ms. Thompson at a location where she finds them together, challenging the nature of their meeting. The confrontation reveals deeper issues and mistrust between all parties involved. Watch how the tension escalates in the next act.
One of the girls up there told me that my husband have a young girl in the room. So I knew I had a picture how. So I went over myself, knocked on the door. So he opened the door. I went in there. She laying in the bed, under the cover.
Whose house was this?
I took the cover off her head. Asking him, what's going on? He's like, well, we doing music. Sit down. I was like, no, I won't sit down. And that's how I found out. I had an idea it was her. I read his Facebook. They on there flirting with each other on Facebook.
The stakes are higher than ever. Ms. Thompson discusses the dynamics of their relationship, including a trip to New Orleans where she met Mr. McKinley's family, further complicating the paternity issue. She expresses mixed feelings about the relationship's impact on her life. The suspense doesn't let up. What's next is even more gripping.
Me and him ended up going to New Orleans, and I met his entire family.
Because
how is it that he was able to take me to his daughter, his father? So yeah, I had a struggle. I was struggling, and I had somewhere to go. But if he went, I was with him. He introduced me to his family, his sister, his cousin. I went swimming. I'm talking about it's like I'm his girlfriend, you know. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this man too old. But at the time, it's fun right now because I'm young and I'm enjoying his company.
Now for a real showstopper. The court delves into the physical evidence presented by Ms. Thompson, suggesting a genetic link between Mr. McKinley and her son based on a physical trait known as stag toe. The discussion includes a tense moment where Ms. Thompson asks Mr. McKinley to show his toes in court to prove the child's paternity. You won't believe what happens next.
This evidence shows that he has stag toe. He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic. I asked Terrell about my son. I told him about it. Oh yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes. You take them off. You got on. Did you put on socks? He admitted that he had stag toe.
It affects an estimated 10% of the population, and then when children and infants have overlapping toes, it's usually that one or both have the same condition.
Emotional roller coaster ahead. As emotions run high, Judge Lake addresses Ms. Thompson's situation and her feelings of being overwhelmed by the responsibilities of motherhood and the ongoing drama. The judge expresses a desire to help her find a resolution for the sake of her child. The climax is near, and it's a doozy.
If you all are trying to see the child, that's what I want to get to next. You say you want to be a part of Legends until you figure out if, in fact, it's your biological. You're attempting to do that. Ms. Thompson saying every time the wife has to come, I realize what that's rooted in. The world's going to be going on. I get all that.
You're not ready for this twist. Ms. Thompson performs a rap in court, summarizing her feelings and experiences related to the case. This moment highlights her creative expression and attempts to communicate her perspective in a unique way. The finale is just around the corner, and it's bound to be a stunner.
Let me tell you a little something about me. Pretty Mac Kool-Aid Solo Grinding one day. I met him on Facebook, he inbox, trying to see if he could take me out. I'm knowing this dude want to get in them sheets. The dude say he want to marry me. I don't got time. I'm on my stuff, got hectic. I got on that phone and start talking reckless. I can't help it stressing, but my kids, yeah, they are blessed.
Here comes the grand finale. DNA results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
Can you believe this opener? Ms. Brown starts off with a bang, claiming Mr. Jones is the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Journey, and accuses him of leaving her hanging financially by denying paternity and refusing to help out. She's banking on the DNA test to prove he's the dad and hoping it'll motivate him to start contributing. You won't believe how Mr. Jones claps back.
Ms. Brown, you claim the defendant got pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 2-month-old daughter, Journey, leaving you in financial distress. Today's DNA test will prove that he is father, and you need him to step up and help support your baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Jones fires back, totally denying he's the father of Ms. Brown's child. He's pretty confident about his claim and says he's got the receipts to prove it, setting us up for a real showdown over paternity and all the drama that comes with it. Brace yourself for Ms. Brown's reaction. It's a doozy.
You say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father and have evidence to support your claim.
Yes, ma'am.
Grab your tissues, folks. Ms. Brown spills the beans about her tough financial struggles, admitting to past acts like stealing diapers just to make ends meet. She paints a vivid picture of the tough life of a single mom with no support, making it clear just how dire her situation is. The courtroom's about to heat up even more, so don't go anywhere.
Since she was born, I have a hard time taking care of her financially on my own. I had a job, currently not able to work because of my baby.
You can't work, why? Because you can't afford childcare?
I have no one to keep her. I'm in this alone by myself. I have no support. It's always been hard on. I'm like, well, what you want me to do? Should I go out and steal diapers? You want me to get arrested again?
Here comes a curveball. Mr. Jones Jones owns up to not really helping out with Journey, admitting the baby needs the basics, but also throwing some blame Ms. Brown's way, claiming her decisions have made things worse. Watch how this plays into the fiery exchange coming up next.
You're admitting that you haven't done much for. You know that this child needs diapers, needs milk.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you haven't done anything.
I mean, I have done small, saying as much as I can. I'm more on the 95% that I'm not, because it's 5% because I did have sexual relationships with her. So I'm not denying the whole thing.
Things are getting tangled now. We dive into the backstory of Ms. Brown and Mr. Jones's relationship. Mr. Jones talks about their whirlwind romance, leading quickly to pregnancy, which raises all sorts of red flags about the timeline and who the real daddy might be, considering Ms. Brown had just ended another relationship. The plot thickened. Keep watching.
I had just moved with my cousin to North Carolina. I had met her at work. She had a boyfriend. Chase got her from him, literally, from one house to another, you know, and then before we could really get to know each other, it was, she's pregnant.
So you say you were having sex and you were living on the same roof.
Yes, ma'am.
You know one another?
I mean, no.
You're not ready for this twist. The topic of Ms. Brown's financial supporter, mysteriously referred to only as a friend, comes up, stirring up more doubt in Mr. Jones about whether he's really the father. This adds another layer of intrigue and suspicion, just as things are about to explode.
Because you don't do nothing for my child. The only girl you're talking about is a friend that I have financially that helps me support
friend.
because
It's just too many friends.
When she told you she was pregnant,
we was in the house one day and I was like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I knew.
He said, you're pregnant. No, I'm not.
Like Daddy
So the
said,
next
when I met her,
day,
she had a pudge in her stomach. I thought I was from drinking beer.
I went and took a pregnancy test. It came back positive. So I went to his cousin's house and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant.
And now, the moment of truth. No, really, this is it. Judge Lake finally reveals the results of the DNA test, and guess what?
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Jones, you are her father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Right out of the gate, Mr. Vogel drops a bombshell. He claims he owes $43,000 in child support for a son he believes is not his, stating he knows the actual father is his brother. He expresses a desire to have this debt erased if the results confirm his suspicion. If you think this is wild, just wait for what's next.
Mr. Vogel, you currently owe $40,000 in child support for the defendant's son, who you say is not yours, and you claim to know who his father. Once today's results prove that you are not his biological father, you say you will return to your home state to get enormous debt erased.
Yes.
Talk about a plot twist. Daniel Vogel accuses his brother, David, of being the biological father of the child, revealing his wife, Donna, had an affair with David. He describes an incident where Donna allegedly had intimate violence with David in Daniel's car. Strap in because the story takes a quirky turn.
Who do you believe his father is?
My brother, David. She had sex with my brother in a car in a parking lot in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Did that just happen? Donna corrects Daniel, clarifying the affair happened under a bridge, not in a car, dubbing her son as a bridge baby. This revelation not only causes chuckles in the courtroom, but also paints a picture of the bizarre circumstances of the affair. The audience's reaction to the next part is a must-see.
There was no sex in a car. It was under a bridge. My son is a bridge baby. I don't know where he got that.
You're admitting that you were intimate with his brother, not in a car under a bridge.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Let's get it right.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Daniel delves into his suspicions during Donna's pregnancy, pondering if someone close to him might be the father. He recounts their tumultuous relationship and Donna's subsequent marriage to his brother after their divorce. Brace yourselves, there's more drama ahead.
I had a thought that it was somebody in my family, and I figured it was. You start to think, and things are going wrong in the relationship, and my brother is, you two must be getting together or something, and that's when everything started clicking in my head, and I started putting dates together. He was born on November. She had divorced me already, and I went down to Kentucky, and she told me the story of the car, and...
You can't make this stuff up. William, the son at the center of this drama, discusses his uncertainty about his father's identity, sharing that his mother hinted at the possibility of his uncle David being his father. Watch how this bombshell starts to reshape their family landscape.
About 2 years ago, my mom she came to me and she told me there's a possibility that David could be my father. What she basically told me was that she had had sex with him under a bridge. That's my understanding. It hasn't changed over the last 2 years.
Hold on to your seats for this emotional roller coaster. Daniel talks about the financial and emotional strain of paying child support for children he's unsure are his. He details the significant impacts on his life, including financial strains and legal troubles. The emotional weight of his story sets the stage for an even more heartfelt revelation.
Daniel here is the one paying child support for you.
It's all about the money anyway.
It's not about the money, it's about the children. I have this right here, which is proof that $43,000. I've been paying in 2 states since 1990. They're taking my federal tax down in Kentucky. The state of Wisconsin's taking my state tax. I couldn't give them Christmas presents. I couldn't do nothing for my own children. And these are my children. These are pronounced to not be my children.
Grab your tissues for this heart-wrenching testimony. William expresses his confusion about his paternity, explaining that every decade, his father figure seems to switch between his uncle and his actual father. The emotional fallout from this confession is about to reach new heights.
He got to see me once in a while. And majority of the time living with David, actually been moved around from state to state. We really didn't stay in place for a very long period of time. So my understanding of it was David was my father, but Daniel was my biological father.
As we reach the climax, Judge Lake prepares to reveal the results of the paternity test. The courtroom is charged with tension and anticipation, hanging on every word. The verdict is about to drop, and you won't believe the outcome.
I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostic, and they read as follows. This has been very emotional. Is there anything you'd like to say to your son, William?
I'm just sorry that it happened this way.
The paternity test results show that
it has been determined by this court, Mr. Daniel Vogel, you are his father.
Can you believe we're just diving in? Judge Lake kicks off the episode with the case of Matherson versus Robinson. Mr. Matherson steps up to the plate, tossing out claims left and right that he doubts his fatherhood to Ms. Robinson's 3-year-old Jodin, accusing her of dodging the dreaded paternity test for years. Strap in, Ms. Robinson's clapback is just around the corner.
You and your mother have demanded defendant Ms. Robinson appear in court today. You claim you are not father of her 3-year-old son, Jaden, and say she's been ducking a paternity test for years. Is
Yes, Your Honor.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Robinson isn't here to play games. Flanked by her mom, she fires back, insisting Mr. Matherson has known all along that he's the daddy and accuses him of ghosting his own responsibilities. Both sides are dug in deeper than a tick, and things are about to get even spicier.
Then you and your mother say Mr. Matherson has known this is his child from day one, and he needs to grow up, stop running from his responsibilities.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not ready for this twist? Mr. Matherson unravels his tale of trying to bring this to court sooner, thwarted by Ms. Robinson's elusive maneuvers. Judge Lake confirms his story with court records, shining a light on the timeline shenanigans. What comes next? Ms. Robinson's side of the story, and it's a doozy.
Your Honor, I didn't wait 3 years. Well, I tried last year to contact this same court. She refused. She was ducking and dodging, you know.
Original contact date, June of 2015. That was more than a year ago. You say Ms. Robinson's been ducking and dodging.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it was getting hot in here, Ms. Robinson stands her ground, denying all evasion accusations and doubles down on her certainty about Mr. Matherson's paternity, revealing his sporadic appearances over Jodin's life. The plot thickens. Don't go anywhere. The heat turns up next.
I have no reason to duck and dodge.
Because are you certain?
Jaden is 3 years old. I've seen him maybe 5 or 6 times. Alexis is always keeping Jaden away from us. There's nothing, we're not accomplishing anything. Today is the day to find out if Jaden is my grandson.
Talk about throwing gasoline on a fire. The debate gets fiery with allegations of dodgy behavior and irresponsible threats, which Ms. Robinson claims justified her keeping Jodin away from Mr. Matherson and his fam. And just when you think it can't get more heated, the next exchange throws in a curveball.
Tawan is not responsible. Also sent the threat that my son, when he's going to take him back to Ohio.
I'm going to take him to Ohio to see my family if he was mine.
Without my permission.
Without your permission.
The thing is, from the beginning when we found out Alexis was pregnant,
she don't know.
Just when you think you've seen it all, accusations fly from Mr. Matherson's mom about Ms. Robinson's lifestyle, suggesting that her character made a paternity test necessary. The dispute gets messier, and believe me, you'll want to stick around for what's coming up next.
Someone told you
yes.
to get a paternity test.
Correct, because she's promiscuous and that she is following in her mother's footsteps.
Started for the paternity test until me and his mom got into it last year, and she spoke up and started speaking with a paternity test.
As things start going on, and it was a fight trying to get to see Jaden, is when I start saying we need to get a paternity test because no real is going to keep a child from her father. I don't care.
Didn't see this coming, did you? The battle rages over why Jodin doesn't share Mr. Matherson's last name. He sees it as a red flag about his paternity. Ms. Robinson retorts, citing a lack of commitment and responsibility on his part. Hold your horses because there's more drama ahead.
I believe my son should have my last name because Tawan was not showing me any responsibility that he will be able to carry my child.
Because y'all wanted him to give y'all.
We're talking about a newborn child, so I was taking full responsibility. But if I'm going to him and I'm saying give me $20 a week for your child, that's no money for no child. There shouldn't be no pressure on it.
Things just got real. The argument escalates as Ms. Robinson urges Mr. Matherson to man up and accept his role amidst a chaotic courtroom struggle to keep order. Next up, enter stage left, potential new dad figure. You won't believe who walks through that door.
Mr. Matherson to take Jaden.
Recently, he was just getting Jaden around his birthday.
So you did see Jaden around his birthday, Mr. Matherson. You still have a doubt when you look at the baby?
Yes.
I mean, he's 3 now, baby, and he's a little boy. You have doubt.
And there's a lot of different
different reasons why I have doubt.
And just like that, a wild Mr. Gregory Collins appears. He strolls into the courtroom, denying he's the father of Jodin, claiming he was just friends with Ms. Robinson when Jodin was conceived. The room's about to explode as the DNA results are finally unveiled.
Mr. Collins, Mr. Matheson has indicated that he believes that you are Jaden's biological father. Do you believe you are?
100% sure I'm not his father because I wasn't even talking to Alexis on that level.
Are you all in a relationship or are you friends?
Don't say nothing.
And we've been friends for 5 years. Since they've been knowing each other, we're in a relationship right now.
Now you're in a relationship. How long have you all been in this relationship?
Grab your popcorn. This is the big reveal. The results are out, and shocker.
When it comes to 3-year-old Jaden Robin, Mr. Matheson, you are the father. That's your little boy.
Here's where the roller coaster kicks off. Ms. Gray begins by asserting that Mr. Pearson has devastated her family by denying paternity of their 10-month-old daughter, Camilla. She expresses her frustration and hope for resolution in court, highlighting the emotional stakes involved in the case. Brace yourselves, because we're just scratching the surface.
You say the defendant, Mr. Pearson, has ripped your family apart because of his denial that is your 10-month-old daughter. He never denied your 2 oldest kids, but refuses to believe is the biological dad of baby Camilla.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, twist in the tale. Mr. Pearson counters Ms. Gray's claims, asserting that he is not the father of Camilla, and suggests that a member of his own family might be the biological father instead. This revelation adds a layer of complexity and personal conflict to the proceedings. Buckle up, it's about to get even wilder.
You claim that not only are you not baby Camilla's father, but you know that her dad is actually a member of your own family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things are heating up now. Mr. Pearson admits to treating Camilla differently due to his doubts about paternity. This moment underscores the real-world impact of the paternity dispute on the child's life, highlighting the emotional and familial rifts that have formed. And just when you thought it couldn't escalate further,
the way he treats the other ones, he treats them way more better things. He don't buy her nothing.
Is that true, Mr. Pearson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's because of the doubt you say you have. I don't know how you ignore a beautiful baby like that. Do you feel like they can feel or understand? Or is it just because you know and you see the difference?
Get ready for the bombshell. The tension escalates when Mr. Pearson accuses Ms. Gray of infidelity with his cousin, which she confirmed, stating it was out of revenge. This bombshell deepens the conflict and paints a picture of tangled personal relationships and retaliatory action. The aftermath of this will have your jaw on the floor.
She slept with my cousin, Your Honor.
How did you find that out?
Being of the fact that he was at my house while I was leaving to go to work, and I just left it be. I didn't question it. You know, I thought I could have more trust in my cousin, because at that time I didn't have suspicions until, you know, we started to move out, and I wondered what he was coming to my house for. I'm leaving to go to work. Who was he there for?
You won't believe this twist. Ms. Gray admits to sleeping with Mr. Pearson's cousin multiple times as revenge, revealing the complicated and retaliatory nature of their relationship dynamics. This confession is pivotal as it directly impacts the paternity uncertainty. Strap in for the next curve in this saga.
Ms. Gray, did you sleep with his cousin?
Yes, I did. It was revengeful because he left me in North Carolina when I would have a kid together. So yes, I slept with his cousin several times too because it was revengeful.
Now the truth come out.
Mr. Pearson, you were never told it happened.
And he told me that it happened, and I confronted her about it, and she still lies to me about it, Your Honor.
This part's a real eye-opener. The focus shifts to the cousin, Mr. Alexander Pearson, who participates via video link. He discusses his involvement with Ms. Gray and his suspicion that he might be Camilla's biological father based on timing and physical resemblance.
Ms. Gray has filed that you've indicated that is your biological child. Pearson, your cousin, has indicated that he is aware we're sleeping with Ms. Gray. Are these things true?
Yes, Your Honor. I was aware that she was pregnant. Being who the father was, neither one of us knew, because at that time, she did tell me that she was pregnant. Time frame between when she had the baby.
Can you handle more? Because here it comes. The conversation turns to the necessity of a DNA test to resolve the paternity dispute. This part of the episode highlights the participants' reliance on scientific validation to settle deeply personal and emotional disputes. Hold tight. The truth is just moments away.
He didn't think that I was a father. Why would she need a DNA test in the first place?
This is what I said. Before we even had sexual intercourse, he said, "You're pregnant." When I had my child, neither one of them two came up there to see me. He told me to send a picture of her. That's when he started denying her. I constantly tell Mr. Pearson right here that he is the father.
Feel the tension building? The judge addresses the deeper issues of trust, betrayal, and the implications of the relationships on the children involved. This segment offers a sobering look at the emotional cost of the adults' actions. The verdict's coming up, and it's a doozy.
You're not gonna stop making children.
The Bible says be fruitful.
So the Bible also also says, get married. I don't mind you wanting to have children, but you need to do it right. There's been a lot of tit for tat around, a lot of jokes, a lot of you don't have to be with me. You don't. This is all child's play. You all are kids.
Here comes a crucial turning point. In her concluding remarks, the judge empathizes with Ms. Gray's desire for a stable family life and addresses the responsibilities of all parties involved. The focus is on the well-being of the children and the need for maturity and cooperation moving forward. Next up, the big reveal that changes everything.
Waking up in the morning and you see that person every day, you see your kids every day. I want my family.
You've had a tough road to toe. I'm gonna be honest with you, because you have not done right. Also had reasonable doubt in this particular situation. Can only imagine if you have 2 children with someone and then you truly have that doubt about the third, how do you handle it? I don't think you're old enough and possess the maturity necessary.
Are you ready for the grand finale? The climax of the episode occurred when the DNA results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Theodore Pearson.
Can I see my daughter?